Today on the show, we talk about all of the Spider-Women. Hello and welcome to the show with issues. I'm Auram, and the name behind any given superhero has really become a trivial thing over the years. Nowadays, we have so many heroes running around with the same names as their peers. Just look at Hawkeye and Hawkeye. Anyway, I wanted to talk about Spider-Woman in some fashion this week, and realized that she's also one of those characters who has had their mantle used by many different people. That being said, let's get started. Okay, so full disclosure here, the reason this video exists is because I wanted to tell the true origin of why Spider-Woman was created. I didn't really give it its own episode because I just couldn't quite flesh it out into a full script. I will still tell that story though, because I want to. Jessica Drew has had a very convoluted origin over the years for a plethora of reasons. She originally started as a literal Spider-Woman to an extent, and is now a super secret triple agent for a bunch of organizations. But this isn't her true origin. Spider-Woman made her debut in Marvel Spotlight issue 32 way back in 1977. Shortly after this, she was given her own solo title. Coinciding with the launch of this book, Stan Lee stated that he suddenly realized that some other company may quickly put out a book like that and claim that they have the right to use the name, and he thought we'd better do it real fast to copyright the name. So basically, because Stan Lee was worried about DC or some other comic publisher stealing the Spider-Woman name, he quickly commissioned her appearance followed by a solo series to lock down the copyright. I think this is pretty cool and is one of the big factors that has slowly made Jessica Drew into my favorite superhero. Anyway, let's get started on the actual meat of this video, with the first Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew. Jessica Drew was born to Jonathan and Miriam Drew. She was a pretty normal baby for the most part, but eventually fell ill, seeing as she was exposed to uranium radiation for extended amounts of time because of her parents' jobs. They actually studied evolution along with the man who would eventually become the High Evolutionary. The uranium was just found at their research site, and they used it as financial gain to build their facility. Anyway, as an attempt to combat Jess's illness, her father injected her with a serum made from the blood of several species of spiders. He also locked her away in a genetic accelerator, which was supposed to speed the process of her healing up, but ended up just slowing her aging process. Eventually, she woke up with no memories of her parents or her life in general. She went on to work for a man named Otto Vermis, who tricked her into joining and working for Hydra. Vermis trained Jess until she was ready for her first official mission as an agent of Hydra, to assassinate S.H.I.E.L.D.'s director Nick Fury. Jessica realized that this was wrong and turned on Hydra. This opened up a world of possibilities for Spider-Woman, and she eventually moved, joined S.H.I.E.L.D., became a private investigator, joined the Avengers, and so on. Jessica is still the current Spider-Woman and has actually gone back to her PI life for the most part. She's got a new costume and everything. This is all before Secret Wars though, so we're not entirely sure where she stands now. Anyway, next up on our list of wonderful Spider-Women is Julia Carpenter. Julia Carpenter was a college student that unwillingly was a part of an experiment to create a superhero by a government group called the Commission. This group was basically a task force to monitor superhuman activities, sort of a Superhuman Registration Act before that was a thing. Anyway, this group wanted to create their own superhero and had Val Cooper, one of their scientists, find a possible candidate. She befriended Carpenter and convinced her to be part of an athletic study, which was, of course, a front for the Commission's superhuman tests. They injected her with a combination of spider venom and a plant extract which gave her powers very similar to Spider-Man's. They gave her the name Spider-Woman, and she went on her merry way for quite a while. During her time as Spider-Woman, she also went as Arachne, just to differentiate herself from Jessica Drew and the other Spider-Woman. Currently, she has taken the title and powers of Madam Web and has given her costume and mantle to an extent to Anya Corazon, Spider-Girl. Okay, so that other Spider-Woman I mentioned earlier? Maddie Franklin. Martha Franklin one day overheard her father talking to Norman Osborn about a ceremony of some kind. This ceremony turned out to be the Gathering of the Five, which is basically the coming together of 5 relics which would grant the 5 people involved power according to which relic chose them. Maddie took her father's place in the ceremony and was granted the Power Relic, which gave her superhuman physical attributes as well as flight. After Spider-Man went seemingly missing from the superhero scene, Maddie decided to fight crime in his place. She became known as Spider-Woman, with Jessica Drew's blessing, after a fight with Charlotte Witter. Eventually, during the Grim Hunt, Maddie was sacrificed by the Kravinoff family to revive the Grim Hunter. So those are all the main Spider-Women who have used the title over the years. There are other characters to use this title, some from other worlds like Spider-Gwen, and some that don't really use the title like Charlotte Witter. I'm actually surprised at how simple the origins of Maddie and Julia are, especially when compared to Jess's. I guess I just expected them to be more fleshed out or something. Maybe that's why Jessica is still Spider-Woman today though. Okay, this week is the start to the biggest month I have ever had in terms of the amount of comics I'll be picking up. See, normally I pick up around 6 to 8 comics per week, but ever since Secret Wars started, it's been slowly increasing. For this month, the average is around 10 to 11. That being said, I'll be getting 12 titles this week, including Renew Your Vows issue 1, Spider-Woman issue 8, and, of course, Secret Wars issue 3. Anyway, here's the rest of my pull list and Marvel and DC stuff as always. And that's it for this week. Feel free to tell me in the comments if you have any suggestions for future episode topics. Anyway, thanks for watching. Next time I convince Marvel to make more Spider-Woman merchandise because dear lord, there's none of it.